I'm out here on a brand new lake that I don't understand how this lake works. So I'm gonna spend a little while here today scouting the lake. We're gonna be scanning, driving around for a couple of hours. Mission number one today is scouting some good spots for future upcoming trips as well as this one. So let's go ahead and jump in. So as you can see, I've got two screen recorders going. I got my front Livescope and this one right here. These are both 8610 XSVs, so they're 10-inch screens. I've got them networked together. I've got it networked to the trolling motor, which is gonna allow me to control kind of my path, and then I can drop waypoints as I go if I'm seeing fish. I've got side scan, side view pulled up, and Livescope. So as you can see on this screen here, I've got three different things on the screen. Across the top, I've got my Livescope in forward view. That's the one that I can control right here by my hand. And then I've got the chart in the bottom left, and in the bottom right, I've got side scan. I'm in spot lock right now, so that's not showing me a whole lot. I'm no pro with side scan, side view, but I'm trying to get better at it. And I think I've figured out at least a way to figure out, if I'm hitting weed structure, those types of things, which is good because then I can hit it with Livescope and then see what's in there. Across the bottom, you're gonna see, since I have a Garmin Force crack and trolling motor, the Garmin Force can do this as well. I've got my trolling motor controls right there. So everything that I wanna do, you can see it's in anchor lock mode. So you'll be able to see as I'm going through the water, what I'm doing, where I'm at, and what's going on just by looking at this screen. This is a relatively decent sized lake, so I'm not too worried about if you figure out what lake it is. However, just to respect the lake here, if you do know what it is, you can say you know what lake it is, but don't drop it down in the comments. I'll just delete those because I want to try to keep this lake a little bit safe and not have it pounded by a bunch of people, even though who knows if I'm even going to catch a lot of fish. I will tell you this, a 10-inch screen is relatively small to be doing something like this. I wish I had a 12. I think I'm going to buy the 1243 XSV, but it's a couple thousand, $2,000-$3,000. So we'll see. I'd dash mount that here. We'll see if I end up doing that. On the front screen, what you can see here is we've got Livescope set up as well. On the Livescope setup up front, it's only Livescope because that's a little bit of a distance away. I could move it up, but I kind of want to leave it there because then if I hop up there, I can just hop on that stool in case I do start deciding to cast and attack some of these fish. I've got plenty of bait with, so that hopefully will be something that we do later this afternoon. It's about 11 a.m. as you can see by looking at the screen. And so we're gonna scout around for a couple of hours and then hopefully fish for a couple of hours. That's the plan at least. I do have, I don't know if you can see it if I'm standing in the way here, but I do have my front Livescope pole that I can turn, and you can see that front screen is turning. And we can see right now, we're right on a weed edge at about 15 feet. So this is a spot I'm gonna kind of tool around here with the trolling motor. There's a lot of activity out here today because it is a Sunday, but that's okay. The fish will probably still be hiding kind of in those weed line areas. And if anything, I wanna find some of the weed line areas where I see fish moving around. What's cool about this is you can see the track mount that I've got up here on the front. I've actually got it with the handle moved as close to the back as I can here, so that way I can actually control and point that forward Livescope wherever I want it. The forward Livescope is an LVS 32, so normal Livescope. The rear Livescope is an LVS 34, which is the Livescope Plus. You're gonna see maybe a little bit of a difference today in the quality. However, I'm not gonna have gain dialed in because I'm just scanning right now. Maybe when we get parked, you'll see a difference, but there's a lot of different variables that go into the clarity. Yes, the LVS 34 has the potential to have a clearer picture on open water, but I will tell you this, depending on the depth of the water, what's in front of it, where it's pointed, what the settings are, there's a lot of things that go into it, and they're gonna be very comparable. When you're talking ice fishing, you will notice the LVS 34 definitely has a lot clearer image, and it's a lot easier to see because you have a lot less variables, nothing's moving around, you're kind of still on top of a flat, hard surface. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump in. So what you're gonna see already is there are some suspended fish above these weeds here. My guess is that these are probably things like bluegill, so I'll point to one here. You can see that fish right there at about 18 feet out. We'll throw an arrow on the screen so you can see that's a suspended fish. We've got what looks like, it's hard to tell, it looks like a bunch of small fish in there. So my guess is these are likely bluegill. I don't know if that's a tall weed right there or a school of fish. It looks like a bunch of weeds. So this is a spot that I would probably mark and just say potentially panfish. Like look at all of those fish there at that 10 to 20 feet out mark. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna hit mark. We're gonna change the symbol and we're just gonna put a small yellow dot, which means for me, there's potential for fish here, but we obviously haven't caught any yet. And so what we're gonna do is we're going to, if we look at our map here, we're gonna work our way just around this little island here. And we're gonna say, go to, engage the trolling motor. We're gonna hit the trolling motor button that you can see there, and then we're gonna change our prop speed to 20. And then we can kind of scan around as we're looking here. So you can see we're going at about 2.6 miles an hour. We can see a ton of weeds in here. So what we can see is we just got off of those weeds, but there are some other potential weeds in this area here. Now we're getting up into the weeds a little bit. Almost looks like something coming off the top of these weeds here. We're gonna anchor lock this puppy. Oh, we got a suspendy out there at about 45 feet. You can see it up there. 47, 48, 49 feet out there. And this looks good, like there's some healthy structure down there, so I'm sure there's a lot of fish coming kind of out of those weeds. And we didn't go far from where there were no weeds, so we're kind of right on that edge. So we're gonna go ahead and mark this again. We're gonna use that same symbol, and then we're gonna go ahead and go back. You see that fish out there at 30 feet coming in? Nice, nice, nice. And there's some more 70 to 80 feet out there. This is great news. What I'm gonna try to do is use my foot pedal too. So we're gonna do that today. So I got the foot pedal out, and now what I'm doing is I'm just trolling around at about 3 miles an hour. So look at all that bait down underneath us there. This is a good sign. A lot of bait out in front of us here. But we're not on like much of a weed edge, which is the only thing that's a little tricky. Some bait here. Some bait we're going over. There's a fish down below us. Bunch of bait in here. Let's mark this guy. Lots of bait schools today, as you can see on the Livescope. So what you're seeing me do right now is I'm sitting here on a nice padded chair where I've got some good control over my leg, and the foot pedal that you can see is down here on the ground. I can see through the windshield my front Livescope. I can see this one. I've got the front one off to the left a little bit, and I got the rear one here a little bit off to the right. So they'll pretty much cross probably 50 feet out in front of the boat or so. And so I'm kind of getting a good wide angle of about 40 degrees out in front of the boat. We got, this is a 36 volt trolling motor. We got it capped out at a max prop speed of 20. And we're going into the wind on this tank of a boat at about 3.2 miles an hour. Yeah, you can see how shallow it's getting on the right there. There's no structure though. And I'm still getting used to this foot pedal, but dang, do I like it. Way better than the remote. But I can see how it takes some getting used to. So hopefully by the end of today, I'm used to this foot pedal enough to use it a lot. Today's gonna be a real productive day out here just from using the equipment. And I've got my depth set to auto. I've got 100 feet range on both of the Livescopes, which is gonna allow me to really see out there. We can see some good fish starting to pop in, look like smaller fish. Edge of the weeds, right here. So we're gonna mark this spot. And we're just marking everything with yellow dots right now because I don't know what they are. They're probably a lot of small bait fish or bluegill, perch. There's a lot of that on this lake. Look at this spot here. This is like a nice spot. This looks nice. I'm gonna mark this guy. Whoa, whoa, okay. Still not used to how sensitive this pedal is. I probably need to reinforce the bow of the boat. So this is the thing that I talked about in one of my other videos around bait fish and the wind and how it affects it. So this is a wind-blown side of the lake right here that we got. And so what you're seeing is a lot of the bait fish over here. Up in the weeds, you're seeing those bait schools over here. You can see the water's rolling into the land, and that is very common. And so if you're trying to get into these fish, this is a good side of the lake today to fish, at least while the wind is blowing this way. Depending on how long it takes us, we might get to the other side of the lake where it's calmer, and it is gonna be blocked by the wind. And so you may have some fish just hiding, chilling up in the shallows, but you're not gonna see as much of the bait schools and those types of things. And there is a deep hole or two on this lake too that we'll try to get close to as well, kind of off the edges of that huge hole, and see if we can't find anything suspended. A little bit later today, once we get to fishing, we might scoot over there and see if we can catch some suspended crappie even. We've got a lot of bait with, be nice to use it all up. This looks like a pretty fishy spot. Oh, here we go. This is a perfect break spot right here. If we got any weeds on the prop. Just a little guy. All right, we're gonna get another drink a drink. This time we're gonna go Gatorade. All right, we're 30 minutes in. We're gonna mark this spot here. Look at those fish down there. Look at the fish out there. This is a great spot. So we're currently 30 minutes into it, and I probably marked 10 spots. We've got a lot of lake left here, so we're gonna probably hit this until 1 o'clock and then fish for 2 to 3 hours at that point before I gotta head out for the day. But let's keep going. We're finding some good fish. We're gonna get into a calmer side of the lake here in a minute, and we're gonna see what that looks like for bait fish. Oh, that's fish, it looks like. That's fish. All right, we're marking this spot. That's a good spot. Kind of went back into a little channel here, and I'm crawling my way back out. I probably got another 5 minutes before I get out of here, so I may as well eat my lunch here. Smoked turkey and cheddar croissant, a couple cheese sticks, and an energy drink. Let's go. This is looking like a pretty freaking good spot right about here. All right, we're back to searching. Ooh, that's a big fish right here. Makes me kind of want to cast at him. Ooh, there's a good fish coming in. He's gonna pop up on the front Livescope in a second. There it is. This spot right here is fishy. We're gonna put a special mark on this guy. We're gonna throw a red guy here. We'll throw a diamond. This is the spot we're gonna come back to in a little bit here. Got another half hour of scouting, and then we're gonna come back, sneak over here. It's about 30 feet, which is about as deep as I wanna fish, but look at all of these fish, man. Wow. Heck yeah. All right, we'll keep going. Another one. 2 more on the bottom. 1 separating. Sheesh. This looks like a fishy spot. All right, so we just spent an hour and a half to 2 hours here scouting the lake. We got through, I'd say, about 1/3 of the lake, and that's what we're gonna call for today. I found a spot a little bit ago that looked like it had some nice fish in that 28 to 30 foot area range. I haven't done it a whole ton. Obviously, this is my first year with a boat out here, but that is the way that I figured to dial in really the best screen setup, the best speed, and the best approach. It's really separating your day into making sure that you're doing scouting, not scout, oh, you see a fish and try to fish for it, because otherwise what happens is there may be better spots, like the spot that I just found. I never would have gotten to this spot, and I guarantee you I'll probably catch more fish here than I would have in any of the other spots. So it's important to divide the day up. Now, when you come back out to the same lake, you don't need to always scout right away. You can go hit those spots, and if you're not finding fish producing, then you can go and scout, right? So this being a lake that I didn't know very well, I had to start scouting. I do hope that that part of the video has helped you so far, learning how to use the different gear, the different techniques, the different tools that you have in order to make the most out of your day.